Acqua di Giò. The name alone probably just triggered a memory. A holiday. A relationship. A version of yourself you either miss or you've completely moved on from. This fragrance has been everywhere for 30 years, and that is exactly the problem, and exactly the point. Because what Giorgio Armani quietly did with the Eau de Parfum version is take that iconic DNA and actually fix it. They deepened it. They made it last. They made it mean something again. And here's what I want you to stay for. By the end of this review, I'm going to tell you whether this is genuinely one of the best reformulations any major house has ever done, or whether they've stripped out the very thing that made the original special. Because my answer genuinely surprised me. Giorgio Armani launched the original Acqua di Giò back in 1996. It became one of the best-selling fragrances in the world, not hyperbole, literally the best-selling men's fragrance on the planet for years running. The inspiration was the island of Pantelleria, this rugged volcanic island off the coast of Sicily. Clear water, salt air, mineral rock, sun-warmed skin. Armani's nose Alberto Marilla's captured it in a bottle, and the world went absolutely mad for it. Now, the House of Armani has always operated in this elegant, understated space. They're not a niche house chasing complexity for complexity's sake. They're a luxury ready-to-wear brand that understands what a man wants to smell like, and more importantly, what the people around him want to smell. That commercial intelligence isn't a weakness. It's a skill. And with the Eau de Parfum, they've applied that same intelligence to longevity and depth, which is exactly what the original always lacked. Let's talk about what you're actually holding, because this matters. The Acqua di Giò EDP comes in that signature frosted glass bottle, that pale, almost translucent blue-gray that looks like sea glass washed up on a Sicilian shore. It's genuinely beautiful. There's a weight to it, a solidity that feels appropriate for 80 pounds. The cap is magnetic, clicks into place with a satisfying precision that signals quality without shouting about it. Now here's something worth highlighting, this is the refillable version. The 75 ml refillable spray. And that matters, because it's Armani acknowledging that sustainability is part of modern luxury. You're not just buying a bottle, you're buying a vessel. The box itself is clean, minimal, that classic dark navy and silver Armani aesthetic. No gimmicks. No excessive packaging. If you're a shelf displayer, and I know many of you are, this earns its place. It looks the part. It communicates exactly what it is, refined, confident, effortlessly expensive. Right. First spray. This is where the EDP separates itself from the EDT immediately. Where the original opens with that bright, almost effervescent marine accord, all sea air and fresh citrus that practically evaporates on contact, the EDP opens with something that actually stays on your skin for more than 20 minutes. You get that marine quality, absolutely, that saline, almost mineral freshness that is the Acqua di Giò signature. But it's richer right from the start. There's a citrus element, bergamot-like, clean and sun-drenched, but it doesn't flee. It lingers. And underneath it, almost immediately, you sense something darker waiting. The projection in those first 15 minutes is genuinely impressive. This announces itself in a room. It's not aggressive, it's not a weapon, but it has presence. It says I'm here without needing to shout. For anyone who found the original EDT too fleeting, too transparent, this opening will feel like vindication. Now, into the first hour, and this is where the EDP really earns its concentration label. The heart of this fragrance is where Armani have been clever. The marine accord doesn't vanish, it remains a thread throughout, but it's joined by a warm, aromatic quality. There's something almost herbal here, a slight incense-adjacent note that gives it a Mediterranean earthiness. Think sun-baked herbs on a hillside above the water. Rosemary, almost. That mineral volcanic quality from Pantelleria's soul. What surprised me, genuinely, is how sensual the heart becomes. The original EDT is clean. Almost antiseptic in comparison. The EDP's heart has warmth. It has skin. There's a subtle patchouli working underneath the marine elements that gives it this almost intimate quality. It starts to smell like your skin rather than a fragrance on top of your skin. And that transition, somewhere around the 45-minute mark, is when I went from liking this to actually being quite moved by it. Hours 3 through 6. This is the soul of any fragrance, and this is where the Acqua di Giò EDP makes its definitive statement. The marine freshness has largely settled into a memory, a whisper of sea salt, a ghost of that open water feeling. What remains is warm, woody, slightly smoky. There's a vetiver quality to the base, grounded and masculine in the most effortless way. The patchouli is more present now but never heavy, never that musty darkness. It's been modernized, refined. And then there's this quietly beautiful musk that ties it all together. Clean, warm, intimate. This is a dry down that gets genuinely compliment-worthy. Not the opening is familiar, it's Acqua di Giò doing what Acqua di Giò does, but the dry down is something new. Something worth the upgrade. This is the part of the review where I tell you, the dry down absolutely justifies the price. That was my surprise. I expected a marginal improvement. What I got was a genuinely different final act. Honestly? This is where the EDP wins the argument comprehensively. The original EDT on my skin lasted maybe 3, 4 hours if I was being generous. This EDP? I'm getting 7 to 8 hours on skin consistently. On clothes, significantly longer. I detected it on a shirt the following morning, which for an Acqua di Giò product is nothing short of revolutionary. Sillage is moderate to good. This is not a room dominator, not a Sillage monster that announces you before you've entered a building. It's smarter than that. In the first 2 hours, you'll have a trail, people nearby will notice, and they will say something. By the dry down, it becomes more of a personal scent, something people catch when they are close to you. And honestly, for a fragrance this intimate in character, that's exactly right. It doesn't overstay its welcome. Best time of day? Morning through to evening. This works year-round but genuinely shines in spring and summer when that marine DNA makes complete contextual sense. In winter, it's a little displaced, not wrong, just not optimized. Let me paint you some pictures. If you're the type who has a capsule wardrobe, who buys fewer things but better things, who has moved from collecting fragrances to actually living with them, this is for you. You appreciate the heritage, but you want the upgrade. You've probably worn the original at some point, and this feels like returning to something familiar but discovering it's grown up alongside you. If you're someone who needs a fragrance that works in professional settings without being either aggressively formal or embarrassingly casual, this is your answer. The boardroom to the bar handoff is seamless. It reads intelligent, put together, effortlessly confident. If you're newer to fragrance and want a gateway into quality eau de parfums without the learning curve of niche houses, this is a genuinely brilliant entry point. It's approachable, it's wearable, it rewards attention without demanding it. Who should not wear this? If you're chasing something utterly distinctive, something that will have people asking what that unusual, complex thing you're wearing is, keep looking. This is a beautiful fragrance, but it is not a conversation piece. It's the tailored suit, not the statement coat. And if you're a maximalist, if you want sillage that clears a room and projection that lasts a week, this will frustrate you. £80 for 75 millilitres. That's £1.07 per milliliter. In the context of the broader fragrance market, that is genuinely fair for a designer EDP with this level of performance. You're getting genuine longevity, proper concentration, and that refillable bottle which has a tangible long-term value to it. Are you paying for the name? Partially, yes, this is Giorgio Armani, you are buying into a legacy. But the liquid justifies itself. You're not paying purely for the marketing. If budget is tighter and you want something in a similar space, that marine, fresh aromatic masculine zone, look at David Off Cool Water EDP, which will scratch a similar itch for considerably less. But I want to be clear, Acqua di Giò EDP is the better fragrance. The gap is real. My score, 8.2 out of 10. Points for exceptional longevity improvement over the original, genuinely beautiful dry down, and the elegant refillable packaging. Small deductions for not being particularly distinctive in the opening and for that premium that buys you heritage as much as liquid. If you want to grab this, I'll leave the direct link in the description. It's available through P11, which is where I'd send anyone in the UK looking for this at a solid price. Acqua di Giò Eau de Parfum is not a reinvention, it's a refinement, and it turns out that was exactly what was needed. Armani took 30 years of cultural weight and finally gave it the performance to match its reputation. Now here's the question I actually want you to answer in the comments. If you've made the switch from the original EDT to this EDP, was it the dry down that sold you, or did you almost go back to the original? Because I have a theory that the dry down is divisive, and I want to know if I'm right. If honest, no-nonsense fragrance reviews are what you're after, subscribe. I post every single week, and I will never hype something that doesn't earn it.